Hello and welcome to the Business Octopus live stream, where we talk about all things sales, marketing, and technology. I'm Avon Collis, CRM and marketing automation specialist at Relevate. So I just wanted to say hello, and first of all, an apology in that last week I had something come up and I didn't manage to get onto the live stream. So unfortunately, we missed that one. But I did happen to get a couple of calls. Now, if you've ever done live streams early on when you're trying to get people to come along, well, first of all, you have to be consistent. So turning up every day matters. And I've done it for a couple of weeks now. And then I thought, well, I hadn't really seen the needle move on that many people turning up. And what happened was I ended up having to deal with an issue, getting a phone call, dealing with that. And I thought, well, no one's going to miss me. But of course, someone did. So I didn't turn up to the live stream, and I got a phone call saying, "Hey, are you going to start this?" And then a phone call from someone else going, "Hey, is everything okay? I thought you were going to do a live stream." So it made me realize that yes, even though sometimes when you're starting out and you don't have a huge following, that you might be trying to get people to come along, and it might be a bit disheartening if no one does. But you never know. Someone could be watching, someone could be paying attention. The little number that turns up on my screen here could just be limited by the data that it can bring in. So anyway, I'm here and I'm back, and I'm going to be working hard on being more regular with live streams. And I'd also like to sort of get some topics and ideas and content from you guys. So if you've got any questions, put them in the comments. But basically, we've got an online community, and I use a lot of what we talk about there to bring into the live stream. But if you've got a specific question you want to go through, then please let me know in the comments. And don't forget to go over to YouTube, give us a like, a subscribe, etc. Awesome. Well, speaking of YouTube, I want to go and I want to tell you about something that's happened. So in the last week and a bit, I think it was about not Monday just gone, but the Monday before that. So it's probably now 2 weeks. But in that period, I went from a very small number of subscribers, probably about 750, something like that, to now 4,200. So we had a significant growth in the number of watch hours, in the number of subscribers. And within the last 2 weeks, we've gone from what felt like almost nothing to everything. And now I've submitted an application for the YouTube Partner Program, which, if anyone has ever done anything on YouTube ever, you would know how hard it is to grow. You need to spend a lot of time. You need to put a lot of video content out. And if you're doing, videos on a regular basis, kind of like my live stream problem, where I was getting close to having an outcome. I was getting really close to having someone or some people view my live stream live. Of course, lots of people watch it retrospectively, but having a consistent time coming out and saying consistent, I guess, value in and around digital transformation, and then having people turn up and, I guess, appreciate that. That's a hard thing to get to. So having sort of given up, well, not given up, I think I thought that no one would miss me for one, but I was wrong. So here we are, we're back, and we're being more consistent, and so much so that I've been doing a short every day. I've been doing a longer form video once a week, a live stream, and then I've got some other channels as well, which I can post in the comments or in the description after this. So the other channels basically have slightly different flavors. That we've got one that's Zoho only. This one's more about, whole company updates. I've got a personal channel and some other bits and pieces. But one other piece of content that's coming out soon is actually just after this, I'll be recording a podcast with a retired US Army Lieutenant Colonel who's done a lot with the infantry, who's served all over the world, including in Australia, and has done who's now retired and is now doing leadership training. So if you're interested in learning about leadership in big corporates or in major militaries, then definitely tune into the podcast. Now, I'll be recording and I'll be scheduling it later, because obviously after I finish this, You don't want to see another live stream straight after. In any case, like I said, we're going for the YouTube partner program. So that means that we'll be able to have memberships, and eventually you might see some of the little products and things that turn up at the bottom of the live stream. So we do have Relevate Coffee, which is a little coffee brand that are basically used as corporate gifting. And if you want to think about the value of that, is when we took over another business, and that previous owner used to give out bottles of wine. But one thing I had as a challenge, as like a corporate gift. But the challenge I had with that was that it's wine. Not everybody drinks. And the other one was it's red wine. Not everybody likes red wine. And it was cheap crap, and it tastes like rocket fuel. So it's actually more of a curse to your brand than it is beneficial. So we switched to providing coffee, and it's just a bag of coffee. You can get 250 gram or 1 kilo. There's a couple different strengths or blends. But the value of that is that it doesn't, like, most people will drink coffee. There's no like bad connotations with coffee. You don't have like 10 coffees and become a problem at a party. If anything, you become the life of the party because you're all amped up and excited. So coffee is good because you can gift it to almost anybody. Even if you don't drink coffee, someone's going to appreciate it. And the other thing is that you don't drink it all in one sitting. So it's probably going to sit there for, depending on how fast you go, it could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be a month. And every time they look in the cupboard, they're reminded of your brand and they're reminded of something positive. And I prefer doing things like that rather than having mouse pads and pens and junk that's just going to end up in landfill. I mean, once upon a time, everybody was doing USBs, and now there's almost no USBs. Everybody's doing things with online files, cloud documents. You just send an email with a link and you're done. So the USBs are also an excellent way to get hacked. There's been many of an occasion where someone has gone to a conference and found this USB on the ground, picked it up outside their car or something like that. And it could be, a CEO of a major company. They've picked up a USB and then they thought, I'm going to see what's on this thing. And they take it home, they plug it into their home computer, boom, there goes the whole company because they've got in through a back door. So very important that if you're going to do anything kind of marketing, that you understand the major implication. I have a big problem with power packs. A huge trend with everybody putting out all of these extendable batteries, power packs, rechargeable things that are branded and then are then used as marketing materials. My problem with them is that you're usually built with the cheapest, crappiest lithium, which means they don't last very long. And there's millions of them printed or produced. And then they've got to end up in the bin, in landfill. So you've got these lithium batteries that are providing branding. Hello, whoever's there. Thank you for coming along to the live stream. So I'm talking about basically marketing materials and how they can be really bad for the environment, like your mouse pads, your pens, and those reusable batteries or USBs and things like that. And how we've decided to go with coffee. So it just really helps have something usable. If you're going to give a corporate gift, don't make it about you, make it about them. So there's branding and marketing in the way that you do that. And somehow particularly these days, the environmental impact of the way that you market your business or the way that you conduct your business is definitely thought of in the overall brand picture. So I know that with the Coles and Woolies, they had these little toys that they would give out. And for the longest time, they were little pieces of plastic crap. And the amount of wrapper and plastic goodies or whatever that end up out in the world is insane, is absolutely ridiculous. And you go to the shops, you get your normal $200 or $300 load of groceries, and then you get given a fistful of these little plastic things that you get to take home for the kids. Now, the kids love it. That's great. Yes, it helps with the branding, but there's a huge issue with like just pumping out stuff for the sake of it. So now Woolies and Coles have become aware of the impact of this, and instead of having plastic or foil wrapping, they've started to use paper wrapping Or now, instead of providing these little plastic toys, they're using things like cards that it's a little something printed on a card, or reusable. They started giving out Lego for a long time. So, having brand partnerships that, Lego, whilst it's plastic, has a little bit more longevity. You're going to add it to a play set. You're going to use it a few times. You're not just going to look at it for 10 seconds and put it straight in the bin. That will happen. But broadly, if you're going to do any kind of like branding materials, you really need to think about the overall impact and how you are perceived as a business, as a brand. All right. So one of the other things I've been up to lately is flying around the countryside to see clients and to do, I guess, consulting engagements. Now, that normally, like in the industry of IT and tech, you can do it pretty much remotely. You don't have to always be on site, but there is value in being on face-to-face at times. And I think sometimes people get hung up on one way or the other, but you need to choose the right time and make a decision that's more, I guess, strategic, rather than just saying, yep, I'm going to jump on a plane, or just saying, yeah, we'll just do a Zoom and nothing else. So one thing we've been doing a lot of recently is networking, network building, that sort of thing. So jumping on a plane, that sort of contributed to me not being able to attend the live stream because I was in the air. I wasn't able to be on top of certain things. But I think as a business grows, you need to minimize the minutia and start to just move the big rocks, because that's what's really going to propel you forward. Yes, sometimes a few little things will help. Was it be brilliant at the basics? But there's a level of noise suppression that you need to do. Anyway, so we've flown around the place to see clients. Next week, I'm going to go to see Zoho, fly there to have a partner chat, because we're a Zoho partner, and potentially a Sydney trip coming up. So sometimes it can be really valuable, particularly for larger clients, to get in front, to humanize, to shake hands, and to sometimes do the things that maybe those other competitors won't do. So getting in front of the right people can be very impactful. And usually what I try to do is combine a number of meetings in one go. So rather than just go into one meeting, I'll book several chats and make that time really efficient and really effective. All right. So I did briefly talk about networking and network building. So just to expand on that, we've got the Relevate Community. So if you check out the link below, which is a place to do, I guess, digital business education. So learning how to use the systems and the technology in your business to be 10,000 times more effective than if you were just to do it on your own. Everybody talks AI, everybody talks, systems, but there's 10,000, 50,000 products on the market. It's a crazy number of software applications. And now with AI, they're being built faster. That means there's going to be more software applications on the market that you have to filter through in order to find the right one for yourself. So the reason why we set up the community is to help educate people on what they need, why they need it, what they don't need, and not to get caught up in the flashy sales conversation that happens. All of the software programs on the planet will tell you that their solution is the best. They're going to tell you that that is what you need, and it's going to make your wildest dreams come true. But in reality, your business does something different to every other business. Doesn't matter how similar you think you are, there is always something. And at a certain scale, you are going to be more and more specialized. Yes, in the early days, you could be pretty generic. You can plug the holes with spreadsheets and post-it notes. But as you start to scale up and grow, you really need to understand the other moving parts in your business and understand how having some systems and having the right processes and procedures and culture is going to really help you go from good to great. Otherwise, you're just going to be at a certain size that you can never get past. All right. So on that networking and network building topic, we've got some new US groups coming up. So we've launched a Zoom for the US group, which is on my Thursday night, American Thursday morning. And the time zone change now has meant that it's about 8 a.m. So the US groups, we're just starting up. We do have a an Australian group, APAC, which happens at about 7:30 p.m. Brisbane time on a Monday night. And so far, we're growing that group quite well. And that's Zooms at the moment, but we've also got plans to have a face-to-face meetup. So we did a vote inside our online community, and many of them said, yes, we are excited to have a face-to-face catch-up. All right. So then networking versus network building. What is the difference? So networking is you go to a networking venue and you go and get a crazy amount of business cards and things, and in the hope that you'll follow up and you'll make good connections and relationships. Now, quite often you'll turn up, you give your little pitch, you wave at each other from across the room, and then you leave. And what happens? Nothing. So that's networking. Network building is a little bit different. It's about finding someone who is your ideal referral partner or an ideal connection that you can more deeply understand each other. And once you do that, you then have the power to invite or introduce other people in your network to them, or to other people in their network, because those very deep connections have significantly more value. I could have 5-10 conversations with someone and not know the right person or the right thing to introduce them to. But it's not until I get to maybe conversation 11, 12, 13, 14, doesn't always happen on the first meeting. But it's not until you get really deep in who are you and who am I that you understand the value, or you understand the ideal connection, or you see an opportunity that maybe they didn't see. And it's not always about closed business. Sometimes it's about strategic relationships and things that lead on to other bigger things, or maybe product expansion or service expansion, or solve a problem that's non-financial or that is people-based or something like that. So having a network that you build rather than just pick up a card for is something far more powerful than just going handshake to handshake and staying surface level and not doing anything more with it. So network building is something that we practice and promote in the Relevate community. And it's also where we do digital business education, because it is first and foremost a digital business accelerator. And of course, it's the fish that John West reject that make John West the best. So we are selective about the types of people that we allow in. Anyway, so that's the networking side of things. Now, on that, I used to be part of another group which had about 200 people in a room every Monday night, and it was excellent. And I think there were many things that were really, really good about it. And there was a couple of things that weren't so good. And over time, it sort of changed. The culture got watered down. Some key relationships weren't key anymore. And but I made a lot of connections there, and I still talk to this 5 years later. Still talk to a lot of these people on a very regular basis. So now I'm getting the band back together. So if you know me, if you know what I'm talking about, please reach out, jump into the Relevate community, say hello. I'd love to have a chat and see where we go from there. So if that's you, you know who you are. All right. And yes, the value of connection. You don't know exactly where a connection can go. If you have a closed mind and you just come at it with a transactional mindset, then you're going to get a transactional outcome. But I've introduced people from one group to another, and made a $300,000 deal go ahead, and that had nothing to do with me. And I did it because not only did I solidify a relationship with a person that now I'm meeting with today, 5 years later, is a powerful lever. So, one thing we value is time, and investing time in the right kind of people actually helps save you a lot of time. So if I'm to go one-to-one to go and make sales, that's the slow game. But if I find one person that's connected to 50, 100, or 1,000 of my ideal customer, then that's 10,000 times more powerful in terms of leverage, and is actually a lot cheaper in terms of marketing, and it's an easier introduction rather than going and trying to sell yourself and you immediately pitted against 10, 20, or 3 or 4 whatever competitors. Now I get a warm introduction, and it's you. It's always you. There's no question of going with any other partner. So I would suggest that you reframe and rethink the way you do networking. I would consider network building rather than networking. And if you're unclear on the definition of the difference, go back in this video about 5 minutes and where I start explaining. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is the live stream. It's short, sharp, it's punchy. We do this every Friday. So if you want to come back on next Friday at 8:30 a.m. Brisbane time, we could check in and say hello. Please do jump in, add a comment, add a question. It helps me to stay on track and answer something that you might be interested in. So once again, don't forget, this is the Business Octopus. Come along and join the Relevate community. And I look forward to catching you up next time. Thank you.